I just think it's really interesting when you figure out exactly what you're supposed to do, and then you wake up and you're like, okay, so I know what I need to do. I need to trust the process. The process makes sense. Every time I go to sleep and then wake up, it's really clear in my head what I'm supposed to do. But there's only so much I can do on the weekends. I can't really call people that I need to call. I think it's interesting when you realize what you're supposed to do every day. You're supposed to take care of yourself, and then you're supposed to realize why you need to do what you're supposed to do. Because when you were little, you didn't have that opportunity to take care of yourself the way that you wanted to, because your caregiver didn't give you the opportunity to do the things that you needed to do when you were little. So now you have to do things by yourself as an adult, and sometimes that's really difficult because of your experience. So when you were a child, you had this experiences that you have, and now as an adult, you still have those experiences, but you can kind of pick them apart and realize why those things happened to you the way they did, and why you're the way you are. Because when you were little, you weren't allowed to express yourself. So now as an adult, you express yourself, but people around you get angry because you have boundaries now. You have boundaries, you have respect, you have honor, you have no tolerance for BS, and that irritates the narcissist, because the narcissist wants to feel in control. So that's why they do that. That's why they treat you the way they do, because they want to be in control. They want to be in control, and it drives them nuts when they're not in control. So then they'll do something like slap you across the face violently, or tell you something, make you like feel like a victim or something, because they want to be in control. But it points back to them, because they did something abusive to you, like hit you across the face, or slap you around, because they think you're just gonna do whatever they say. And now you're an adult, you don't agree with that anymore. Like as a child, you hit me, and I didn't know any better. Now as an adult, you hit me, it doesn't feel very good. But at the end of the day, I know the difference between the two scenarios. Like, it's not fair either or, but I know the difference today, because I can process it out. I can figure out exactly why it happened the way it did. It's not fair, but when you're old enough, you can decide that, okay, this is what happened, and this is why it happened, and it's not fair. But then that's how they did what they did. So I think it's really interesting when you process everything out the way that it happened, and you're like, okay, so that was unfair treatment that I received for so many years, and now I can discern the difference between somebody treats me that way as an adult. I don't tolerate it, because all I want is love. So all I want is love. I want somebody to love me, but the way that I was shown love as a child was all performance. It was all performance based. The only reason my mom said she would love me is because I would do the dishes, or I would do my school, or I would do something to please her, and then she would tell me she loved me. So it was all performance based love, and that was really hard for me when I was little because I thought I had to perform. So I performed all the time, and I almost mastered being an actor. So, and then I learned to be a reactor. So if I reacted a certain way, then I would get things. Or I would get a slap across the face. Or I would get slapped with a belt. Or a Monty Kloppen. And realizing why things happened the way they did kind of like make me feel the way that I do today, because I learned certain things and now I can unlearn certain things and realize that that doesn't define who I am anymore. But it was difficult to process that out when you're 7 years old, 6 years old, 5 years old. It's hard to process all that out when you're a little kid and you can't express yourself the way you want to express yourself, and then they tell you to go away. Like the other day, I asked for some help, and they told me to go away. And when I was younger, it shut me down because I would legitimately ask for help. Like, hey, can you help me? Can you help me with my diaper? Can you help me with food? Can you help me with something that I need? And they would just say, go away. And when I was little, it like devastated me because I'd be like, okay. So it shut me down internally. I was shut down eternally, and I didn't know how to process that out. But then years went by, decades went by, and people did that when I was an adult. And I was like, what? Excuse me? Go away. Don't do this task. You're not qualified. You're not worthy of this task. Like, it was all work related. And I was like, okay. And I couldn't figure it out. And then I worked really hard for a company. I gave them everything. Because when I work hard, I put my heart, my soul, everything into it. So I had an experience that just like kind of blew me away. And it was kind of like a narcissist experience again. And it happened about 3 years ago. And I was like, it was kind of like that same behavior that I was taught when I was a little kid. Go away. But I was like, what? I just got injured. And it was your guys' neglect and your guys' lack of safety policies why I got hurt. So you're going to tell me to just go away? Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that in the real world as an adult. Because as an adult, you have different things. Like, as a child, I don't really think you can sue your parents for abuse as a child. Maybe as an adult, you can go find the right judge and he can allow you to sue your parents for the abuse that you went through, and you might win the case.